Thank you. That was a fantastic start to the conference, a fantastic introduction. First of all, I'd like to thank IREX. We've been coming to these events for years now. They're always fantastic. They do a great job. Most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today and giving me the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about myself and my company, CMB Regional Centers. Let's see here. So CMB is one of the largest active EB5 regional centers in the industry. Of course, EB5 is the U.S. government's immigration by investment vehicle. And what EB5 does is it allows you, your spouse, and any unmarried children under the age of 21 to be able to earn a permanent green card. So it's not citizenship, it's a green card. And once you have that green card, if you remain in the United States for at least 5 years, you can then become eligible to apply for citizenship. Primary difference between the green card and U.S. citizenship is that with the green card, you can't vote in the U.S. elections and you don't hold a U.S. passport, but you do have all of the other, for the most part, all of the other same rights and privileges that any other U.S. citizen has. You can live anywhere, you can work anywhere, you can travel pretty freely in and outside of the United States, and of course, you have access to all of the same things that any other American citizen would have once you're in the country. So, to tell you a little bit more about CMB, again, one of the largest active EB5 regional centers in this industry. We've been at it for over 25 years now, so we have a very long history, and we're very proud of our track record that we've been able to establish. The founder of our company is Patrick F. Hogan. Pat is actually my uncle. I'm very proud to work for him. He's developed a family company. His daughter, Noreen Hogan, is now the president of the company. I've been working with him with EB5 since 2011, and since that time we've just exploded in growth for many different reasons, but in part because of the vision of Pat. He is someone who puts our investors first, he fights for our investors, and he's innovative in this industry. He's one of the first to create the EB5 loan program, which is now, I'll talk about that here in a second, but it's now the standard within the industry. He's one of the first to start relying solely on indirect and induced job creation, which is now one of the standards in the industry as well. And of course, by building that track record and starting early, he's able to provide opportunities for thousands and thousands of clients. We have over 5,800 EB5 limited partners. We're actually over 5,900 now. I actually need to update this slide. We just cracked 5,900 and we're on our way to 6,000 clients. I think we're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 or 12 clients short of 6,000 clients now. We've signed about 120 clients since about August of this year, since the program really started to open back up. And it's because we have great projects. We have great opportunities that we've been able to provide our EB5 investors over the years, and we take a lot of pride in that. You can see we have over 5,000 of our clients who have already started to go through this immigration process. They have I-526 petition approvals. Now that's that first petition that investors have reviewed by the U.S. government. We have over 2,000, or right about 2,000 I should say now, and that slide needs updated as well, about 2,000 clients with I-829 petition approvals, and it's now over 2,000 clients with return of capital. So that is clients that have gone full circle through this program. When you see those numbers up there, I'm going to tell you one thing that's really important to understand. Those are individual EB5 investors. There are a lot of regional centers with lesser track records that haven't been around as long that will inflate those numbers by talking about the family members associated to each one of their investors. Those are individual investors, so it's over 2,000 people that we've returned capital for in our partnerships, and our partnerships are continuing to mature. So as that happens, those numbers will continue to increase. Again, how have we gotten so big? Well, it's because we're constantly out there trying to find good EB5 investment opportunities for our limited partners. And wherever we find those EB5 investments, we go as a company. So our footprint has expanded significantly over the years. Our first regional center was in California. You can see we've done a lot of projects in California, but now we've expanded all across the United States, wherever we think we can find quality opportunities for our clients. One thing that you'll always see with CMB is we're always true to our structure. We're always true to the way in which we structure our projects, and why we structure our projects the way we do is because we're focused on the goals of the investor. What are the goals of every EB5 investor? It's a green card. This is not a traditional business investment. Anyone who's telling you that EB5 is just like any other traditional business investment is wrong. They are focused on job creation, because to the U.S. economy, or to the U.S. government rather, EB5 is a job creation program. It's not an immigration program to the U.S. government. They could care less about your immigration pursuit, frankly. The U.S. government wants this program to impact the United States in a positive way. So they've structured this to make sure that you make an investment into the U.S. that can create new American jobs, and that's what it's about. So if we can find projects that we know that job creation will occur, we know that you're going to have success in being able to achieve your green card. So that's your number one goal. Number two goal, of course, is getting your money back. One thing that differentiates EB5 from every other program that might be out there around the world is that with EB5, you're not buying a piece of real estate that you have to hold and maintain for a certain period of time, and then you may have to worry about liquidity challenges in the future and all of those sorts of things. What you're doing is you're making an investment into a job-creating project, and typically those investments are structured in the form of construction loans. So you're building a new building, an office building, a hotel, whatever it might be. But at the end of the term of that loan, you expect to get your money back. And if you pick a regional center that's high quality, who's working with good developers, who's going to structure these projects appropriately and fight for the clients if anything goes wrong, you're going to increase your ability to get your money back. So effectively, at the end of the day, you're going to get your green card, you're going to get all your money back, and then the third goal is to get a little bit of a return on the investment. Now again, these are not traditional business investment. Rate of return on these is very low. It's always a little less than 1%. Every once in a while, you'll see regional centers out there saying, oh, our projects can pay higher. They can pay 2, they can pay 3, they can pay 4. Whoop-de-doo. You're not going into a traditional business investment for 2, 3, or 4% on your rate of return. Those are regional centers with lesser track records trying to tell you that they can incentivize you to go into their project because they don't have the way to prove to you that they are effective at doing what you need them to do, getting you your green card, getting you your money back. So they may try and persuade you to go into their projects with a little bit more rate of return. So always keep that in mind. That's your third most important goal. Now, I'm going to go quickly on this. I talked earlier about the loan program. Whenever we structure a project, we form a new limited partnership. That limited partnership, the CMB limited partnership here, let's see if my pointer's working. Maybe not. But the new EB5 limited partnership you see in the center serves as the investment vehicle for the investors. Investors from all over the world invest into that limited partnership. Money is pooled, and we make a loan to a project that we've already identified that you get to do due diligence on. It's a registered securities offering. You're going to get a private placement offering. You're going to get all the materials that you're going to want to review, due diligence information on how we underwrote the loan, on how we're looking at the project, how we view the project in the future, its valuations, its performance. And you're going to get to be able to make a decision as to whether or not you want to invest in that partnership. But at the end of the day, it's a pre-selected project. There's not a lot of headache. You're not faced with having to figure out how exactly you're going to invest into some sort of project that will create the jobs. We've done all of that work for you, and we've prepackaged it in a way that allows you to review that opportunity and make a decision as to whether or not you think that's a good opportunity for you. Our role is to serve as the general partner of that partnership. We are the fiduciary. We make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to work. We enforce the terms of that loan agreement. If anything goes wrong, we will enforce the default provisions on that loan agreement. If there's challenges within the partnership as it pertains to how job creation is made, or if the USCIS comes back with questions on your filing, we answer those questions for you. And something I'm very proud of, and we'll talk about here in a little bit, we have a 100% track record with all of our projects. We've never had a project denial. And I'll get to that in a second. Now, what makes CMB a lot different from other companies is we have a very big team. We have about 54 employees in-house, and then we have employees stationed in different parts of the world. So if you have a question about your project, you can pick up the phone and someone's going to be there to talk to you about your project. It's not as if you're investing with CMB and then you're just on your own until you get your money back or you get your immigration, you get through your immigration process. You have someone standing there helping you through every step of this process to make sure that you have success within this program. We actually have investors from 104 different countries. Many investors from the Middle East, from India, of course, all over Asia, Europe, Latin America, you name it, we have investors in virtually every continent with the exception of Antarctica, of course. And we've done a lot of these projects. You know, there are a lot of groups out there that will say we have 100% success. Maybe they've done 3 or 4 projects, great. We've done over 75 projects. Over 72 of them have already gotten through that first stage where they have approvals. You can see 38 have gone all the way through where investors have gotten their green cards. And at both of these stages, we have never had a project denial. And of course, 46 of these partnerships have already gotten repayment. I'd challenge you to find another regional center who's done 46 projects. There's only a couple in this industry. And to find one that's done 46 repayments is completely unheard of. Now, our history and our track record is something we wear on our sleeves. We actually, since 2014, have had every one of our partnerships audited. And this is something we take a lot of pride in. We want to be transparent. This is something that we've always thought was important and has now actually been adopted in the newest EB5 bill that was passed in March of this year. Now regional centers are actually required to audit their partnerships, to audit their information and provide that information to their investors and to the U.S. government. This is something we've been doing for a long time because in this industry, transparency is key. If you're as big as CMB and you've done over 75 projects, are there projects that have had challenges? Well, of course. Go talk to your bank. Has your bank ever had a project that they've lent to that's had a problem? Of course they have. Now, if you've only done a couple, maybe you reduce your risk that you're going to have a project that's had any challenges. But if you've done 75, you're going to have these. Even if they've had challenges, we think it's our duty to be transparent to our investors and to provide them the information that they need to make an educated choice. Or our prospects, rather. If you're considering an EB5 investment and you have questions about our history, we can provide this information to you. It's something that we think every investor should have access to. Now, I'm actually going to introduce our current offering, CMB Group 81, but I'm not going to talk much about it. We have a booth right outside. In that booth, we have several representatives from our team that can talk to you about that in far more detail. We have information that we've provided on the seats here with information on that project. We can answer any question that you have. But CMB Infrastructure Investment Group 81 is actually, well, that's a lot of information on this slide. So it's actually one of our latest partnerships with a group that we've done now over 35 partnerships with, Hillwood Development Company. And Hillwood is the real estate development arm of the Perot family based in Dallas, Texas. And one of their specialties is the development and construction of industrial logistics buildings. So this partnership will actually complete 3 logistics buildings in Southern California. Now, these are huge warehousing facilities for companies like Amazon, Pepsi-Cola, large distributors. And these projects are in incredibly high demand. So when you look at the United States, all over the United States, throughout COVID, throughout some of these tough economic times that we've had over the last couple of years, we've still continued to see this industry thrive. And even though the U.S. may be going into a small recession, we're still seeing certain areas within the country thrive in this asset class. Southern California is one of them. This project has immediate access in its location to the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, which is making it hugely important. And so we're going to continue to see this in very high demand. This area actually has a vacancy rate less than 1%, and these projects are continuing to be absorbed by large hedge funds, large family investment offices, real estate investment trusts, et cetera. And so we're continuing to see success in demand for these particular projects. Oops. To give you a very quick overview, total cost of this project is going to be about $260 million. 33% of the capital is coming between developer equity and EB5. The rest is coming from senior bank debt. Now, what's happening right now is these projects are under construction. And the full amount of that 33% that I just mentioned has actually been funded by the developer. As we raise EB5, the equity starts to be reduced until you get to the point where the developer has about 7% equity in, we have about 26%, bank has about 67%. At that point in time, you'll have a tangible asset with value, and the developer will be looking to lease up and sell these assets to long-term holders. Let's see. Oh, I think my slide's cut off here. But one of the things that I think that's really important to understand with this project is just how high demand this region is. This area in Southern California is facing a lot of challenges right now. The biggest challenge it's facing is land. There's no more land to develop these types of assets. yet companies still need this space. What we saw during COVID and immediately after COVID was issues with the supply chain. Well, now we're seeing that supply chain catch up. You're constantly seeing information in the United States about how some of these companies are oversupplied. They need more warehousing space. At the same time, Southern California is being more restrictive in their development and entitlement processes. We're seeing less and less of these projects get approved, which means that these projects are coming at a premium. The ones that are already under construction and able to be completed over the next couple of months or over the next year or so are going to be an incredibly high demand for companies that still need this space. So these projects, I think, give our investors a fantastic opportunity to take advantage of this asset class that is still thriving, and then also pair that with their EB5 immigration pursuit. The rest of the slide that seems to have been cut off talks about job creation with this project. These projects are really straightforward. We've structured them such that when the money is spent on the projects, the job creation will be complete. There's an ample job creation buffer that's going to be available for these investors. And again, they're already under construction. They're fully entitled. They're going to be completed roughly in mid-2023. We've had many investors subscribe into these partnerships, and there are still spots available. So if you're interested on these or any other partnerships that CMB is currently offering, we actually also have a residential investment opportunity in Northern California. I'd welcome you to join us at our booth outside. So thank you very much. Again, I want to thank you for that warm introduction and thank IREX for the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about my company. I hope you have a great rest of your conference.